Have you ever felt as if there is a stranger living inside you? A presence you cannot see, but whose influence you feel every single day? This is the stranger who whispers your deepest fears into your ear right when you're about to take a risk. It's the saboteur who trips you just as you are nearing the finish line of a long-held goal. It's the harsh critic who tells you your success is a fluke, your happiness unearned, and that at any moment, everyone will discover you are a fraud. You try to argue with this voice. You try to silence it, to push it down, to pretend it isn't there. But the more you fight it, the louder it seems to get, its grip on your life tightening until you feel locked in a silent, exhausting war with yourself. You are not alone in this war. This feeling, this internal conflict, is one of the most profound and universal human experiences. It is the struggle with what the great psychologist Carl Jung called the shadow. This stranger, this saboteur, lives in a place you own, but have perhaps never dared to visit. Imagine, for a moment, that yourself, all that you are, is a vast and beautiful estate. It has sunlit rooms where you entertain guests, libraries filled with knowledge, and windows that look out onto the world. This is your conscious mind, the person you present to others, the persona you have carefully built. But somewhere on this estate, behind a high ivy-covered stone wall, lies a hidden garden. You have ignored it for so long. Perhaps you've even forgotten the gate is there. It's overgrown, wild, and shrouded in twilight. You don't go there because you were taught long ago that what grows inside is unacceptable. It's messy, primitive, maybe even dangerous, and yet you can feel its presence. You feel the chill that seeps through the stone walls on a cold night. You hear the rustling of unseen things from within its depths. This hidden garden is your shadow, the unconscious part of your personality that holds everything you have refused to acknowledge about yourself. Your repressed weaknesses, your secret shames, your deepest insecurities, your rawest instincts. It is the home of the stranger. For the next 25 minutes, we will not just stand outside this wall, pretending the garden doesn't exist. We are going on an expedition. Together, we will find the old, rusted gate, turn the key that has been in your pocket all along, and step inside. This is not a video to be passively watched or scrolled through. This is a transformative workshop, a journey into the most misunderstood territory of your own mind. We are going to walk through that wild garden, not to conquer it, but to understand it. If you are truly ready to meet the parts of you that have been waiting in the darkness, if you are ready to end the war and begin the work of integration, then consider hitting subscribe as your first pledge to yourself. It is a promise that, for this journey, you will not turn back. We will complete this together. Let's take that first step. Push the gate open. It creaks, heavy from years of disuse. And now we are inside. Take a breath. The air here is different, isn't it? It's thick with the scent of damp earth, of decaying leaves, and forgotten blossoms. It's cooler here, away from the direct sunlight of your conscious awareness. Look around you. The first thing you notice are the vines. Thick, tangled vines that crawl over everything, choking the life from more delicate plants. They twist and turn in chaotic patterns, with sharp thorns hidden among their leaves. These vines are your negative thoughts. They are the physical manifestation of the inner critic's voice. According to Jungian psychology, when the shadow is ignored, it doesn't just disappear, it festers. It becomes, as he said, blacker and denser, and its energy leaks out, surfacing as persistent negative thinking, as irrational fears, as shame spirals that seem to come from nowhere. You've spent so much of your life trying to cut these vines back. You hear the thought, "I'm not good enough," and you take out your shears, trying to snip it away with positive affirmations. You hear, "I'm going to fail," and you try to hack at it with logic and reason. But the more you cut, the faster and stronger they seem to grow back, because you are only dealing with the surface. You are not addressing the root system, which runs deep into the dark, rich soil of this garden, the soil of your repressed emotions and unacknowledged truths. Carl Jung believed that this inner dialogue, this constant stream of self-talk, was not a sign of madness. He saw it, when approached with what he called scrupulous honesty, as a powerful tool for engaging with these hidden aspects of the psyche. It is the mind's way of trying to live in dialogue with its own fears and inner opposites. It's the shadow trying to speak to you in the only language it knows. So right now, I want you to try something different. Instead of cutting the vines, just for a moment, let's simply look at them. I want you to listen. Quiet your mind and listen for the rustling of those leaves. What is the one critical phrase that echoes here most often? The one vine that seems to wrap itself around everything? Is it, "You're not worthy of love"? Is it, "You'll always be a disappointment"? Or perhaps, "You'll mess it up, just like you always do"? Don't fight the thought. Don't judge it. Just let it surface. Acknowledge that the sound is there. See the vine for what it is. This is the first step of integration, not to attack, but to witness. By simply observing it without judgment, you begin to take away its power. You are no longer a victim entangled in its grip. You are becoming the gardener, observing the state of your land. As we walk deeper into this garden, past the tangled web of negative thoughts, you might become aware of something else. A low, constant hum, a vibration in the air that you can feel in your chest. It is a subtle but pervasive feeling of unease, of restlessness. This is the frequency of anxiety. It's the feeling that something is wrong, even when everything in your conscious life seems to be right. You have a good job, a loving family. Your health is fine, yet this background hum of anxiety persists, an invisible tension that robs you of your peace. The prominent Jungian analyst James Hollis offered a breathtakingly simple explanation for this. He wrote, "Anxiety is the price we pay for the loss of our shadow. That hum is the sound of a missing part of you. It is the psychic energy you expend every single day to keep this garden wall standing, to keep these disowned parts of yourself locked away. We build that wall with what Jung called the persona. The persona is the mask we present to the world. It is our ideal self, the good employee, the loving parent, the strong friend, the successful individual. We assemble it carefully, piece by piece, from the expectations of our parents, our teachers, and our society. But to maintain this flawless mask, we have to reject and repress anything that doesn't fit. We push our anger into the hidden garden because good people aren't angry. We hide our vulnerability because we're supposed to be strong. We bury our unconventional desires because we're afraid of being judged. This creates a tremendous internal conflict, a chasm between who we pretend to be and the wholeness of who we actually are. That chasm vibrates with anxiety. Anxiety, in this sense, is not a disorder to be medicated into silence. It is a summons. It is a signal from your soul that a vital part of you has been exiled and is calling to be brought home. The more you ignore the call, the louder the hum of anxiety becomes. Let's interact with that feeling right now. I want you to place your hand over your heart or wherever you feel that hum of anxiety in your body. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Feel the warmth of your hand. Feel your own heartbeat beneath your palm. Now, take a slow, deep breath in, filling your lungs completely. And as you exhale, long and slow, I want you to silently say to that feeling, that hum, these words. I know you are here because something needs my attention. Just that. Not, go away. Not, I need to fix you. Simply, I know you are here because something needs my attention. In this simple act of acknowledgement, you are changing your relationship with anxiety. You are shifting from a state of resistance to a state of curiosity. You are turning towards the rustling in the garden instead of running from it. You are beginning to listen. Now, It is at this point that a common misconception often arises. Many people hear about shadow work and believe the goal is to eradicate the shadow entirely. They imagine taking a flamethrower to this hidden garden, burning the weeds, killing the pests, and paving the whole thing over with concrete to build something neat, orderly, and controlled. This, Jung would argue, is the greatest mistake we can make. It is an act of violence against our own soul. The goal is not to destroy the shadow, but to integrate it. The aim is to become the conscious gardener, not the fearful exterminator. Jung was very clear that the shadow is not inherently evil. It is simply primitive, unconscious, and untamed. It is the raw, unfiltered energy of life itself. And contained within this wild, messy place, he said, we can also find what he called pure gold. Repressed talents, buried creativity, untamed passion, and a profound sense of vitality are all waiting here in the soil, ready to be cultivated. Integrating the shadow means you stop seeing this garden as a threat and start seeing it as a source of immense power and authenticity. Let's continue our walk. Over there, in a small clearing, you see a collection of statues. From a distance, they look perfect, exquisitely carved, polished to a high sheen. They represent glorious achievements and ideals, but as you get closer, you see that they are covered in a network of fine cracks. Some are threatening to crumble under their own weight. This is the corner of the garden dedicated to perfectionism. Perfectionism is one of the most sophisticated and socially acceptable defense mechanisms we use to keep the shadow hidden. It is a gleaming marble facade we erect to hide the wildness of this garden from ourselves and from the world. The perfectionist lives in constant terror that if they show a single flaw, if a single weed pokes through the manicured lawn of their persona, everyone will see the messy, untamed wilderness they are hiding inside. This relentless drive for flawlessness is fueled by a deep-seated fear of shame, a desperate need for external approval. The unintegrated shadow whispers, "You are fundamentally flawed," and the conscious ego responds by trying to become flawless. This creates the tyrannical voice of the inner critic, which is really just the shadow's judgment turned inward. A fascinating and painful mechanism that the shadow employs is projection. When we cannot accept a trait in ourselves, be it laziness, greed, or anger, we unconsciously project it onto others. We see it and criticize it vehemently in our boss, our partner, or public figures. As Jung noted, we are often most irritated by the faults in others that we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves. The celebrity gossip industry, for example, thrives on this mass projection. We project our own unacknowledged shadow desires and failings onto figures like Britney Spears or Kanye West, allowing us to judge them harshly, which provides a temporary, false sense of moral superiority and distracts us from the uncomfortable work of looking at our own hidden garden. Their public struggles become a canvas for our own disowned parts. People like Demi Lovato or Lorde have spoken about this crushing weight of perfectionism, the feeling that they must present a flawless image to be worthy of love and respect, a pressure that only deepens the cracks in the statues. I want you to pause for a moment and think. Who is the person that irritates you the most in the world? It could be someone you know personally or a public figure. What specific quality about them drives you to distraction? Their arrogance, their incompetence, their need for attention? Now, here is the courageous question. Where might a tiny, unacknowledged seed of that same quality exist within you? In what small way have you, too, been arrogant or incompetent or attention-seeking? This is not about self-flagellation. It is about reclaiming your projections. By seeing that the trait you despise in others also lives in you, you bring that part of your shadow out of exile and into your awareness. You take back your power. The statue can finally begin to crack, revealing the living, breathing, imperfect human beneath. As we move away from the cracking statues of perfectionism, we find ourselves on a path. It looks well trodden, but you soon realize something is wrong. The path is circular. It winds through the dense undergrowth, promising an exit, but always, inevitably, leads you right back to where you started. This is the path of self-sabotage. This is perhaps the most painful and baffling manifestation of the unacknowledged shadow. You get the promotion, and you start showing up late to work. You find a healthy, loving partner, and you provoke a fight over nothing. You commit to a new health regimen, and you find yourself binging on junk food late at night. Consciously, you want success, love, and health, but an unconscious force, a hidden agenda, seems to be driving you toward failure. This force is the shadow. The shadow holds our deepest limiting beliefs, the scripts that were programmed into us in childhood. Beliefs like, I am not worthy of success, happiness is dangerous, or, if I truly show myself, I will be abandoned. These beliefs operate from the darkness of the garden, and they will actively undermine any conscious effort that threatens them. Why? Because the shadow, in its own primitive way, is trying to protect you. It operates on a simple principle. The familiar, even if it's miserable, is safer than the unknown. Success brings visibility. Love brings vulnerability. Change brings uncertainty. The shadow fears these things. It fears the bright sunlight outside the garden walls. So, it keeps you walking on that circular path, where you are safe in the familiar misery of your own self-fulfilling prophecies. The great researcher on vulnerability, Brené Brown, speaks to this phenomenon. Her work suggests that we often self-sabotage not because we fear failure, but because we are terrified of the vulnerability that comes with wholehearted success. To truly succeed means to be truly seen, and to be truly seen is to risk judgment and pain. The shadow would rather keep you small and hidden than risk that exposure. We see tragic public examples of this in figures like Lindsay Lohan or Whitney Houston, brilliant talents whose unaddressed inner conflicts, their unintegrated shadows, drove them onto these circular paths of destruction, undermining the very success they worked so hard to achieve. Let's do another small exercise. Think of a goal you had, a dream you were on the verge of realizing, and then something happened. You procrastinated on the final step. You made a careless mistake. You pushed away the person who was trying to help you. I want you to go back to that moment in your mind. Don't focus on the action of sabotage itself. Instead, try to feel the emotion that was underneath it. What was the fear? Was it the fear of responsibility? The fear of not being able to handle the next level? The fear of being seen and found wanting? What was your shadow trying to protect you from by keeping you on that familiar, circular path? Acknowledging this underlying fear is the first step to charting a new course. You begin to understand that the saboteur is not your enemy. It is a frightened part of you that needs reassurance, not condemnation. It needs the gardener's gentle hand, not his anger. We have walked through the tangled vines of negative thought, stood before the cracked statues of perfectionism, and traced the circular paths of self-sabotage. The air has been heavy, and the journey has been difficult. But now, as we push through the final thicket of thorns, we step into the very center of the hidden garden, and what we find here is not a monster. It is not a gaping abyss. It is a spring, a small, clear spring of water, bubbling up silently from the deep earth. Sunlight, filtering through the canopy above, makes the water glitter. This is the source of it all. This is the pure gold that Jung spoke of. It is the raw, untamed life force of your psyche. And in this moment, the great aha dawns upon you. The shadow is not a separate entity to be fought and defeated. It is the very soil from which your conscious self grows. The anxiety, the negativity, the self-sabotage, these were not the garden itself, but symptoms of a garden that was dying of thirst for your attention. The wildness you feared so much is the source of your vitality, your creativity, your passion, and your deepest, most authentic power. The great work of your life, then, is not to weed this garden into oblivion, but to become its tender. It is to learn what each plant is, what it needs, and what it can offer. This is the long, unavoidable, and often disagreeable process of negotiation that Jung described. It is a lifelong dialogue. The thorny vine of anger, when tended and understood, can be transformed into the passion that fuels your life's purpose and protects your boundaries. The sticky weed of jealousy, when examined with curiosity, can reveal a deep, unmet desire for connection or a talent you wish to cultivate in yourself. The shadowed beast of greed can, when integrated, become a healthy and powerful ambition to build a better life for yourself and those you love. Every part of this garden, no matter how ugly or frightening it first appears, has a purpose and contains a hidden gift. Your task is not to eliminate your shadow, but to become conscious of it, to turn and face it with courage and compassion. This leads to the most practical and profound change you can make. The next time you feel that surge of irrational anger, that cold wave of anxiety, that whisper of inadequacy, your practice is not to fight it, banish it, or numb it. Your practice is to pause, to take a single, conscious breath, and to ask that feeling, that part of your shadow, a simple, gentle question. What are you here to show me? You are shifting from being a warrior to being a diplomat. You are inviting the exiled parts of yourself back to the negotiating table. This is shadow work. It is not a quick fix. It is the patient, courageous art of becoming whole. So now, our journey through the garden is coming to an end, but your own journey is just beginning. Turn around and look back at the path we have walked. It seems less frightening now, doesn't it? More familiar, more yours. Walk back towards the gate, but this time, do not slam it shut and lock it behind you. Leave it open, just a crack. Let the sunlight from your conscious mind stream in. Let the fresh air circulate. Let the wildness and the order begin to learn from one another. Your wholeness, your true psychological health, is not found in the sterile perfection of a paved-over courtyard. It is found in the vibrant, chaotic, and beautiful integration of the tended and the wild. Step out of the garden and back onto the main grounds of your life. The world may look the same, but you are different. You are no longer living in a state of civil war. You are no longer just the master of the well-kept mansion. You are also the wise gardener who understands the richness of his own soil. The next time that imposter feeling surfaces, don't banish it. Look at it. Say to it, I see you. Thank you for trying to protect me from being exposed. But I have work to do now. Your actions are no longer desperate attempts to prove that you are worthy. Your actions become a calm affirmation that you already are, in all your glorious, messy, and complete humanity. Walk into the light. Your work awaits. Your life awaits. And most importantly, you, in your entirety, await yourself.